Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Clickbait Coffee. It is cold out this morning. I think winter is here. So, John McMillan, first one in here this morning. Good morning, John. Greg Skeens, good morning. And Dana Russell is here. Good morning to you too, Dana. And Michael Hamilton, good morning. Michael says, let's see this. Michael said, I only got a trace of snow east of here, 18 inches, last I checked. Lake effect. Russell Moody, good morning. Hey, we got like a trace, like a little bitty dust in the snow. It rained, or it snowed a little bit Sunday night, and then it was like flurries on and off yesterday all day, and the wind was blowing, so you'd look out and it looked like it was absolutely just pouring down rain or pouring down snow and everything else. And then, the ground was still warm, so a little bit of it stuck, but nothing major enough that Lincoln and I made a few snowballs yesterday afternoon. It was funny, when I got home yesterday, I was sitting in the truck and I was looking at something on my phone, and I saw out of the side mirror he had snuck up to the truck and had a snowball. And I'm like, I opened the door. I was like, let me get out of the truck. Do not throw the snowball where it comes on the inside of the truck. And he's like, deal. So we played and threw a few snowballs yesterday. Nothing big, but it is cool this morning. It's going to be cold today, but then like later on in the week, it's going to be back up darn near 60. And Russell says the wood stove is stoked. Yes. And my wife broke down. We were playing the whole game of how long before we could turn the heat on. She broke down yesterday. We woke up yesterday morning. It was cold in the house. It was like 60. And she's like, do you want to concede or not? And I was like, it's up to you. I was like, I'm not going to be here. You're here working at the house all day. I was like, do whatever you want. So I came home yesterday afternoon and she had turned the heat on. So the person we were playing with at church has won the game. Not that they get anything, but yeah, they still hadn't turned their heat on. So, yeah, it's warm in the house. So it's a little cool in the basement. The basement stays a little bit cooler than upstairs, but it's not bad down here. All right, guys. Happy Veterans Day. Today is Veterans Day. So happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all the veterans in here. Whoever's a veteran in here, shout it out. Tell me you're a veteran. Tell me you're a veteran. I know Greg Skeens is a veteran. I don't know about Michael and John or Russell, but if you're a veteran in here, shout it out, and I appreciate what you've done for the country. Gary, good morning from Holland. We're national, or we're international now. We've got somebody from Holland in here. So I appreciate you being in here. But yes, today is Veterans Day, so I hope everybody has a good Veterans Day. Thank a veteran. Do something nice for them. Talk to them today. Tell them you appreciate their service and stuff like that. And then anybody else that comes in, if you're a veteran, put it in the chat. I would like to know. So we're going to talk about today, and we're going to talk about it here in a minute. Information overload. While we're drowning in data and you're kind of distracted with all the stuff, the 24-hour news cycle going on. So put this in the chat and we'll come back to it in a minute. What is the last prepping, end of the world, doomsday headline that you saw that pretty much just made you roll your eyes and be like, oh my gosh, not this crap again? Stick that in the chat. I would like to know, and we'll scroll back through and look at those in a minute. But this weekend I was nothing short of amazing. We did the land nav workshop up at Barren River Lake State Park. Mike Adkins came in and taught it for us. It was absolutely amazing. So good morning, Miss Sharon. Thanks for jumping in here. And I have no idea. Oh crap. Yes, we've got this. Trump giving $2,000 checks. Haha. Yeah, I saw that too. And I was like, yeah, right. I mean, that's like the third time we've heard this thing. So then Michael says the COVID jab. Yeah, exactly. My son, 35 Navy. All right, good deal. Thank him for his service. All right. Mike Atkins came in, taught the land nav class. It was, I mean, amazing. We had it out at Barren River Lake State Park. It was a small class, but it was nice because you got one-on-one instruction. You could get one-on-one stuff and help with everything. So Saturday we met up there. We had one of the conference rooms. We started at like 9 o'clock. Mike has an amazing presentation. We ran about from 9 to 5 o'clock. And he went over all kinds. I mean, it was information overload. I mean, you were drinking from a fire hose, but you could absorb the stuff. And we learned a whole bunch of stuff on that. We learned terrain features, how to read your maps, how to use your protractor, how to use the compass, how to set the compass up, and all that. It was, and Greg Skeens is 23 years National Guard. Thank you, Greg. So we did all that. We did all the book stuff and the classroom stuff on Saturday. Sunday morning, we went out and we had a shelter, like a picnic shelter. We had one of those reserved. We got out there at 8 o'clock Saturday or Sunday morning. We went through Mike had set up a smaller course. We went through that smaller course with him and Kenneth, one of the other instructor that was there. Went through that, and then he showed us through, walked us through, made sure we were comfortable with everything, and then we came back to the shelter and broke for a few minutes to eat a snack and lunch and stuff like that. And then he was like, if you want to go out individually, here you can go. So he had some other plots or some other points plotted out. And he gave us that and was like, hey, go out here and do this. We're going to be shadowing you, making sure everything's all right. So we ran 5 spots. I went out by myself, ran 5 spots through there. And they were pretty decent distance in between. And you're having to plot your points and then set a course on which way, if you're going to, some of them you had to cross a big draw where everything's super steep on the sides. You had to cross it. You had to look and see if you wanted to cross it or if you wanted to skirt around it. And it was an amazing class. I mean, I learned so much about land navigation. I knew how to read topo maps and stuff like that because I've used topo maps and other things. I knew about your pace, or they do a pace count, which is every other step on it for figuring how far you walked. When I was at Western doing all my engineering stuff, when we were doing surveying, we did it step count. So you're counting every step that you're taking. So I would get screwed up a little bit on it and count wrong, but then I could correct myself and figure out. And I'm trying to break myself of counting every step instead of every other step for a pace. But it was fun. Brian and Susan, Chad Albright, good morning from Ohio. And then, let's see, political distraction. Senate passes solution, but Congress and POTUS will deny. More time. They need to get to 61 days. Yeah, I mean, the whole government shutdown, they're just playing games. I mean, that's all they do is ever play games, and they're playing games with our money and our lives. So it's like, thanks for nothing, guys. But I will tell you, Brian and Susan from S&B Homestead Radio did an amazing job with the comms part of it. They set up a base station with a antenna. We had comms pretty much over the whole park. Had communications set up and everything. And I've got to plug my iPad up before it dies. So excuse me for a minute. But Brian and Susan had comms set up to where we had radio communications. We had those all over the park. When people were out on their own, everybody had a radio with them, so they could call back into base. And then one way that they were keeping up with where everyone was at, you had your map, and they knew you left from the shelter. So it's like, hey, he's going to be in between the shelter and point 1 if some emergency happens and we need to we need to find them. So then once you got to point one, you would call back in to the base, and it's like, hey, Jason to base, I'm at point one, headed to point two. And they would tell you that they acknowledged and heard you, and then you just kept doing it. So they always knew which points you were in between if something happened and they had to go, if you got lost or if you had a medical emergency, something like that. And I was kidding around with Mike. I'm like, hey, if somebody gets lost while they're out here doing this, you really didn't do your job good. And he's like, shut up. He's like, that's funny, but not funny. So I'm like, hey, just saying. But nobody got lost. No medical emergencies. I fell down a couple times. I was going down some pretty steep draws, and it had been raining. It was wet, but no medical emergencies and nobody got lost. It was an absolute amazing weekend. Miss Sharon, thank you for putting in links to the website. And while we're talking about that, Black Friday pre-stuff, we've got it going on already. You've got free shipping over $150 purchase plus 10% off the whole store. So anything online that you want to get on the store is 10% off, and you're going to get free shipping if it's over $150. So run check that out. I mean, we've got all our radio stuff, all our radio packages. They come pre-programmed. We'll program them for your for your area, and then once you get those things, you can play with it for a little bit, and then Brian and Susan from S&B Homestead Radio do a 30-minute video consultation with you, showing you how to use the radio. If you've got any questions, anything like that, they will answer those about the radio and help you learn how to use it more than just looking at the book. That, and then all our first aid kits. Everything is in stock except for red IFAKs, and I've still not got those jokers in. I don't know what the deal is with it, but everything's in stock, ready to go. Like our IFAKs back behind me, and then the vehicle med bags, those are set and ready to go. I got an OSHA kit that usually sits up there. Yeah, it's sitting on the floor because I was doing something with it. So, all right, Dave. Warm weather is welcome big time here in Ohio. Need to hook up my wood stove. Yeah, Dave, if you don't have that stove hooked up, you need to get going on that because it is cold here in Kentucky today. Let me see. L2 Survive, good morning. Yes, and happy Veterans Day. L2 Survive, we've been talking about the land nav workshop for that we did this weekend. It was a fun time. Cugbee Farmer, watching from the People's Republic of Michigan, feeding around 6,400 cows. That's a lot of cows right there. So, hey, it's deer season. Yeah, deer or gun season. It's been bow season for a while. I mean, heck, it feels like they start bow season in Kentucky when you can go hunt in stinking shorts and a t-shirt. So, but gun season did start in Kentucky. It's almost like a religion for some people. But gun season started. So anybody in Kentucky, if you've been out doing modern gun season, tell us if you got anything. I'd like to know. I've not gone deer hunting. Probably will not go deer hunting again this year, just because I don't have time to do it. It's I just don't get the time to do it. And there's other stuff I would rather do. I could care less about shooting a big monster buck or anything like that. It's just not something I want to do right now. I've got so much other stuff to do. I'm like, I can't dedicate 5 hours of sitting in the woods. Plus, I get a little bored too. Yeah, Michael Hamilton, you and Cugbee Farmer need to hook up if y'all are both in Michigan. So I don't know how far away everybody is, but hey, hook up with that guy. Y'all might be close and you never know it. Yeah, Miss Sharon, thank you. She put in the chat the radio packages and everything like that. Last but not least, Leslie has her herbal workshop that she's going to come up and do December 6th, and that's going to be in Bowling Green. It's going to be at Western, where we have the festival at. So check that out. Guys, also, if you're not signed up for the email list, we're sending stuff out in the email list that you're not going to get on the show or anything like that. It's going to be signed up for the email list. And I forgot to let me put a banner up here. There. All right. Hey, look at that. All right. But yes, sign up for the email list. Just run over to the website. There's a pop-up where you can sign up, and you get a discount code if you sign up for the email. That, and you're going to get special deals from the email. So, all right. Information overload. Truth in advertising. Sometimes I get wrapped around the axle sometimes on too much information, and I've been known to doom scroll and worry about stuff that you get worried about and you get worked up and you're like, oh my gosh, you do the panic buying stuff, and it's like, man, is this really going to happen? We've got to go out and we got to fix this, and go panic buy and just crap that you don't need, and just worry about stuff all the time. So honestly, we're in like a 24-hour news cycle. The news never shuts down. They just keep you constantly on the state of edge. And then the news cycle too is, excuse me, your thing is just, you're constantly doing this, and there's always something. That the news cycle is like a day or 2 days, and then it's out of there. And let me see. L2 Survive. In your land nav class, do you talk about unconventional ways of finding north, like the way cows face during eating, or the directions dogs point while going number 2? No, we didn't. We did not get into any of that kind of stuff. Mike didn't do that. We did everything off a compass, and nothing really unconventional. I'll talk to Mike and see if he can shoot some stuff like that and talk to him about it. But all right. Right now, I mean, this is probably the loudest time we've ever had in human history. There's so much information at our fingertips. I mean, I can grab this and I can find news articles, social media posts, YouTube stuff, TikTok, Instagram, all that. I can find so much stuff, information right now at your fingertips, that people get wrapped around the axles. Most of this stuff is just noise. Just like, I mean, I've heard, it's like somebody brought up in the chat, Trump's going to give everybody a $2,000 check. I mean, how many times? I know this is the third time this thing has been floated around that people are going to get money from the tariffs. So, I mean, it is what it is, and everybody blows it up and it goes. And I know he put it out on Truth Social. I just saw a screenshot of it the other day, but I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. It's like an old man told me one time. He said, Jason, he said, don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see, and you'll be good in life. And I'm like, he told me that when I was in college, and that's been a hot minute. But I believe what he says. I mean, I hardly believe, unless it's from a trusted person that I know, I usually don't believe it without verifying it. And then half the stuff I see, I don't really believe either, especially on the internet. I mean, AI, they've got so good at doing AI stuff. It's like, you really have to look and see if this is real or not. So, but how do we separate the truth from all the noise stuff and without losing your mind? So let's see, looking at the notes, and yes, I use notes because I forget stuff. So, you've got all these headlines every week, stuff like another cyber attack is hitting a major food distributor, USDA announcing, new limits on SNAP, SNAP's getting cut off. Oil is up because the Middle East is, in chaos. When is the Middle East not in chaos? But, oil prices are going up because of the Middle East stuff. Social media, people melting down on a rumor that the grid's going to go down next week. There's the thing everybody's predicting a while back that the big earthquake in the New Madrid fault. They're like, whatever, September 25th, the major earthquake is going to hit. And people get crazy about this. And honestly, most people just look at the headline, and the headlines are meant to grab your attention and look at the article. Just like YouTube, people do clickbait stuff on YouTube all the times. I try not to do any clickbait. I will do something that will grab your attention, but we're going to give you the facts on it. And it's not like, all these guys do. And Canadian Prepper is one of the biggest goobers in the industry. If you listen to Canadian Prepper, every day the world ends. So the world is ending. I mean, I don't know how many times every time he does a video, but it's like Russian nukes inbound for that. And then people get scared and they're going to click on it and watch it. And he says nothing about Russian nukes. So not that we could do anything if Russian nukes were inbound. You might as well, put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye kind of thing. So, but there's a flood of bad reporting and stuff like that. They just grab that headline, and most of the time the headlines will contradict what the article actually says. So it wastes your time. When you've got so much stuff coming at you, it will waste your time, and you just sit there and just doom scroll or sit on your laptop doing stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, and you get up and you're like, you're scared to death. I mean, it's like, come on, what are we going to do? It wastes your time on that. It'll confuse you. One day you're stocking up on food, and then the next day you're stocking up and buying all these solar panels because you think, the grid's going to go down, and you got to have something. You've got to have something, going on and stuff. You got to have this, you got to have that doing. And so it's like, what do you do to fight back against this? Let me see. L2 survive. There are a lot of CMEs heading towards Earth. We should see northern lights tonight and might have some electric and satellite issues. Yeah. And L2 survive. That's stuff that is like legit, that there might be some stuff going on, but that's where you've got to look at it. If you read a lot of the headlines or some of the social media people that are doing fear porn, they're like, huge coronal mass ejection is going to wipe out all of the United States electrical grid and stuff like that. They don't really know if it's going to be. It might be some smaller stuff. There's CMEs all the time that are happening that mess around with comm stuff and electrical and all this. So, but if you read the news, it's like, oh my gosh, the largest coronal mass ejection in known history is coming. We're going to be all fried back in when they had that huge coronal mass ejection that wiped out or fried a bunch of the electric lines and the what were those stupid things? They weren't the telephone lines. They were the other. Oh crap. Oh well. All right. Michael, I do listen to TJ quite a bit. And then let me see. Cuckbee Farmer. Because of Canadian Prepper, Hudson Valley Prepping, and Survival started. We All Gonna Die Wednesday podcast on Wednesday night around 7:30 to 7:45. Yeah. Yes, it was the Carrington event. Yes, L2 Survive got it. The telegraph lines. I could not think of that. I was like, I know it's not telephone lines. So, but yeah, it's to make fun of Canadian Prepper. Yeah, I mean, Canadian Prepper does it every time. It's like, we're going to die, all the time. Every time he does a video, I think, a million people die or something in some kind of crazy event. But, all right, what are we going to do when you live in this 24-hour news cycle? It's always said, what is it? If it bleeds, it leads in the news. I mean, if somebody's bleeding, they're gonna lead with it and be like, oh my gosh, look what's happening. I mean, they are making hay on all this stuff, and that's their business model. Scare people in a 24 news cycle, get them scared, keep them scared, and they get paralyzed in fear and don't know what to do. You don't know whether to worry about going and getting some extra food because the SNAP benefits are cut off, and then they're showing all these viral clips of people out there saying, oh my gosh, if they cut my food stamps off, I'm going to go just get a cart and rob the grocery store and just take what is owed to me, or I'm going to stand outside and steal people's carts when they come out. they've got that. So you don't know whether, the grocery stores are going to get ransacked and if you need to stock up a little bit more on some extras, or if there's, nukes are inbound from Russia and maybe Putin has said that he's going to do this, or the North Koreans are going to do this. They keep you in that constant limbo and you get paralyzed of not knowing what to do. Let me see. Yeah, Miss Sharon, I figure I have enough of my own problems without watching the news BS. Exactly. I mean, I've got so much stuff to do. I keep an eye out on the news and look at some stuff, but it's like I don't get wrapped around the axles on a lot of this stuff. And it's like I can't really do much with it. If the North Koreans want to shoot a nuke over here, there's not a lot I can do about it. I have no sway in North Korea. I can't call little rocket man and be like, hey dude, please don't do that. We're pretty nice. I don't have a phone call. I don't have a phone line to him. So kind of here's Melanie. Good morning. Thanks for jumping in here. Here's kind of what happens. You see the 10 crisis headlines in a row. So you see those 10 crisis headlines, you start doubting what's real. And you're like, is this real? I don't really know what to do. And then you either burn out or you go broke trying to prep for every single scenario. You're worried about the CME that L2 Survive was talking about. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to run and get some backup power. Rosie, good morning. So you're paralyzed. Too much data and not enough direction. You don't know whether you're going to go get rice and beans today, or if you're going to call up the solar company and be like, hey, I need to come pick up more solar panels. Or if you're going to go buy more guns today because they're saying there's going to be a shortage and maybe the Senate is going to put in a bill to start banning a certain kind of ammo. And then you're running out, you're split 3 different ways and you're not getting anything accomplished whatsoever. So the thing is, tune out a lot of that crap and have a plan. Like I have a plan and I very rarely panic buy a lot of stuff. I have panic bought stuff before just because I kind of got wrapped around the axles on certain things. But the best thing to do is have a plan. Be like, hey, we're going to work on our food supply and that's what we're going to do unless something super, super crazy varies from that. It's kind of, let's start working on our food storage and work to it until we get to a certain level. And then we can jump over and we can work on our medical stuff. Once you get to a certain point on your medical stuff, then it's like, hey, let's jump over and let's start working on more of our communication stuff. So then once you get to a certain point on your communications, it's like, hey, let's work on building up a little bit more ammo stuff. And you can do all these together, but don't just go out and panic buy and set a budget on stuff. If you're going to spend X amount per month on prepping and homesteading stuff, stay in your budget and do that. If you got a budget of, I don't know, $500 a month or something, just throwing numbers out, you're going to like, hey, we're going to spend $200 a month on food storage. We're going to spend another $100 a month on medical stuff. We're going to, buy some ammo and spend another $200 a month on ammo, or split it up however you want. Don't just run out and be like, oh man, the CME is going to hit. We're going to do $500 of solar panels. We're going to do that. And then you're like, ooh, I don't have money to do anything else this month. Have a plan, develop that plan, and work the plan. So, and this is a good way to get a filter on stuff. I mean, we've dogged on Canadian Prepper because he's kind of a dork, but we'll keep going on it. Check the source. If the story doesn't list verifiable data or quotes, chuck it out. If there's some dude, and there are all kinds of people on TikTok, I will doom scroll on TikTok every now and then because there's some funny shit on TikTok sometimes. But there are people that get on there, they have no credible source, nothing. It's a guy holding his phone on a green screen. You don't even know where the dude's at. He's probably in his mom's basement still, eating Cheetos and sitting on a beanbag watching Scooby-Doo all day. but he's the newest guy that's got the top information, and he's got connections with the CIA, the FBI, NSA, and all that. And he's like looking at his phone, green screen, so you can't see his dirty clothes in the back in his mom's basement. And he's telling you all this stuff that's getting ready to happen. X, Y, and Z is going to happen. You know, they've got the files, Epstein files, you know, and all this. And it's like, man, if you got no verifiable data, quotes, anything like that, I am not believing a word you said. That will check a lot of people out. Cross-verify stuff. You know, look at it. Check out 2 or 3 different places. If you see something on one place, run over to 2 or 3 different places that and look and see if it's true. So if Fox News is reporting that there's something went down, go check it at a couple other places. It's the whole trust but verify thing. Another thing you can do is watch market indicators and not memes. So look at fuel prices, grain futures, trucking reports. I tell you what, trucking reports can tell you a lot of what's going on in the economy. I mean, look at that stuff. See how the trucking industry, watch the trucking industry stuff. That is a major indicator of the state that's going on. But don't get Jim Bob that's been driving a truck for the last 50 years. I mean, I wouldn't trust some of his stuff because, I mean, heck, you never know. He might still be running uppers and everything else and saying he can drive 5,000 miles in a day like they used to back in the 70s. So kind of watch that. Let me see. Thank you, Rosie. I appreciate it. Let's see, L2 survive. These CMEs probably won't end our electrical grid. Still, I'm going to unplug anything I'm not using for the next couple of days. Yeah, and that's smart stuff. That you're not rushing out and buying $10,000 of the new latest, greatest surge protector and going to plug everything in. It's like, hey, these things probably won't affect us too much. But if I'm not using X, Y, and Z, I'm going to keep it unplugged for a few days. You know, like if you're not charging your laptop and using it all the time, unplug that thing, run on the battery power. I mean, if you're not watching a certain TV, unplug the thing. Simple stuff. That does not cost you a dime, and you're not going out looking like a fool or anything. You know, it's like you simply went over and unplugged something and went on about your day. Didn't cost you $1. Took 10 seconds to do it. One of the big things, and I preach this a bunch, is local stuff over national stuff. Your county's water supply, your county's power grid, and your county's food supply is more important than the national stuff, in my opinion. I have somewhat control over the local stuff. I can have a lot more influence on my local level than I can ever have in Washington, D.C. So look at that. Talk to your sheriff. Know your local government officials. Figure out about that. Talk to small businesses in the area. I mean, you can talk to small businesses and see what stuff is going on. I found out a lot of stuff. I talked to a lot of small business owners and stuff like that. Brian and Susan and I talked a little bit about some business stuff when they were up here this weekend, talking about jobs and stuff like that. You can look and see how businesses are doing. I mean, the local market that I stop in and get breakfast and stuff. I was talking to her. It was oh shoot, what were we talking about? She said the other day it was slow or something. Oh, it was fall break, like a month or something ago. She was talking about fall break. She's like, man, it has been dead in here. She's like, I don't know what's going on. I told her, I'm like, it's fall break. Everybody's like out of town. She's like, that makes sense. She's like, we hadn't done a lot of business today. So look at your local stuff. Talk to your local guys. You know, the guy that owns a local hardware store. Look and see how business is going with him. And then you can, you know, kind of gauge it that way. The last one, and I'm guilty of this, limit your doom scrolling. Set a timer on stuff. You can get lost in scrolling in TikTok. And I admit sometimes I do get lost scrolling in TikTok. And I look up and I'm like, man, I wasted 30 minutes of my life when I could have been doing something more productive. So if you're going to doom scroll, set a timer, for 5 minutes that you're going to scroll through TikTok, and then set the timer. And once the timer goes off, stop. Don't look at it anymore, because you can get yourself worked up in a tizzy, and you don't know, whether to shit or go blind on the whole thing. All right. This is one thing. A lot of people don't want to think for themselves. So that, or take responsibility for stuff. I know a lot of people don't want to take responsibility. Look at the people, that are on all the government assistance and stuff. They don't want to take responsibility for the actions in their lives. They want someone to take care of them. They want somebody to tell them what to believe. They look at a news article like the war in Ukraine. They look at it, and they want someone to tell them which side they need to be on, whether they need to go grab their little Ukrainian flag and put it on their avatar on Facebook and, or whatever, or Instagram, whatever. They want to know whether they need to put that Ukraine flag up, or if they need to be like, we don't need to support Ukraine. They want to know which side to be on. Just like the whole Israeli thing. They want to know whether they need to put their Israel flag back on their Facebook thing or not, or if they need to be against what's going on over there. People want to be told what to believe. I'm the type of person that's like, let's look at both sides and we'll figure it out. And typically, a lot of the times, whatever the news is telling you to believe and which side to be on, you probably need to be on the opposite side of it, honestly. Us preparedness folks and homesteading folks, we can't really afford to do that. If you outsource all your thinking, you're outsourcing your survival. If people tell you, hey, the economy's great, we're, X, Y, and Z and all this, and you look around, you're like, man, food prices are stinking still crazy. Housing prices are stupid. Now they're going to do a 50-year mortgage they're looking at. And I looked at the numbers on that the other day. I was running and looking at the numbers. A 50-year mortgage, it only drops your payment. I think it was like $200 or $300 a month, but you were paying twice the interest on that. And I think the interest, and I forgot what the price of the house was, but you're paying, I think it was a $400,000 house maybe. On a 30-year mortgage, you're paying like $400,000 or $500,000 in interest. If you take it to a 50-year mortgage, you're paying close to $1 million in interest on a $400,000 or $500,000 house. I'm like, this is stupid. So I don't know what tangent we thought about that, but yeah, don't outsource your stuff. Critical thinking is one of the most important skills and tools that you have in your toolbox. The critical thinking part is way better. It's going to serve you more than a bucket full of food, a gun, a generator, anything like that. Have those critical thinking skills. Look at something and run it through the sniff test. If it doesn't pass the sniff test, don't worry about it. And it's that whole thing, ask a question, but trust and verify. Look at this, ask the question. If you get the answer, trust it, but verify the source. Verify what it's going on. And then also local stuff. That's going to matter more than the national stuff. Let me see. We missed something. Oh no, we're good. But I don't know. The whole big thing is trust but verify, and don't get into a panic. Instead of sitting there scrolling on Facebook and watching the news all the time, get out and do something. Have a plan. Set on your plan. And I bounce around a lot as far as my stuff. Like I will get heavy into food storage for like 2 weeks to a month and just really work on that food storage stuff. And then I'll switch gears, and then it'll be, hey, let's do some security stuff, some pew stuff. Let's hit it kind of hard. I'm still doing all the other stuff, but we're really going to focus on this one particular thing for a while. And then I'll come back through after we do a bunch of pew stuff. It's like, hey, let's build out some more medical stuff. So we'll build out a little bit more medical stuff for a few weeks and get some of that stuff geared up better. And then after that, we'll mess with some comms, get some new stuff set up for communications, get out and play with the radios more, talk to some people on the radio, some of the people I know, be like, hey, let's run out and do some stuff like this. And then you kind of circle back, and then you can do some more homesteading stuff. It's like, hey, I've got some stuff I need to do here. Let's spend some more effort and time on doing this. So get your plan set and ready to go. That's going to keep you, if you have a plan, that's going to keep you from running out and just doing stupid stuff and spending your money every time there's a new headline of, oh my gosh, there's oil prices are going up. It's going to keep you from running out and doing stupid stuff. Michael Hamilton, thank you. We will see you soon. I appreciate you being here. Cuckbee Farmer, too many people buy houses and they end up house poor. If you need a 50-year mortgage in order to afford a house, you can't afford to buy it. Yeah. And the thing is, it only dropped the payment like $200 or $300 a month. And I'm just like, so you're financing it for another 20 years and it's only dropping the payment a couple $100 a month. I'm like, that's ludicrous. But I tell you what, the banks are the ones that are making the money. I mean, you look at all these banks and they're building these monster buildings, just these huge big buildings to be like, look how nice our bank is and everything. And it's like, I don't really care. I mean, look at how much money they're making. I don't need to walk into a big fancy bank with, a big rotunda and all this and marble floors and all this expensive woodwork, walnut woodwork and trim and all this and, just stuff like this. It's like, I'm fine walking into a bank that's in a darn pole barn as long as your money's safe and stuff like that. Stop spending the money on all the stupid, unnecessary stuff. Spend some money on a decent little pole barn, heat it and cool it and have a bathroom and a nice safe. And I can go in there and I'll put my money in. And then maybe you can give me a little bit more when I invest some money with you instead of spending millions of dollars on this stupid building that they really don't need. Why does a bank need this huge, big building other than to say, hey, look at me, we're making a ton of money off you? And people don't understand that. It's like, yeah, they're making a crap ton of money off of people. But yeah, Cuckbee, I agree. If you can't afford a 30-year mortgage, you're not going to be able to afford a 50-year mortgage. So, guys, that's about all I've got for the morning. I appreciate y'all being here. I've got some orders and stuff to pack up and get shipped out. And then I'm going to go do a few things at my brother's house. And then also we're playing, and I've got to get, this is a trial thing on one of our bleeding control kits that we are packing up for my church. And I've got to check and see, we've got some boxes that we're going to be putting these in, mounting them on the wall. So right now I'm going through a couple suppliers and looking for a good box to put on there because, to be honest with you, the boxes like those polycarbonate boxes that everybody are selling, those stupid things are like $60 or $80. I'm like, we're not spending that much money just to hang a bleeding control kit. I'm like, it's almost the same cost as the bleeding control kit. I'm like, we could get double the bleeding control kits and use a cheaper box to hang it in. So, and the thing is with the boxes, you should not be getting in these boxes all the time. It's not like you're opening it every day to get pencils out. You're opening it in the event of an emergency. So I've got some stuff to do that. I've got to meet our person that's in charge of medical stuff at church and talk to her and show her a few different things. That's one of the plans to do today. Yeah, L2 survive. That was the trust but verify comes from the Russian proverb. That's why Reagan used it when he went to talk to Gorbachev. Yes, I use that a lot. I'm like, we're going to trust but verify. And I know people, they're like, I will not ask a question that I don't know the answer to sometimes. And I'm like, that's a pretty good deal. Let's see, Cuckbee. The only thing to panic buy if an ice storm is coming, buy fuel for your generator, gasoline you can use for the lawnmower vehicles, and propane for the grill. Propane won't go bad. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. And there's a difference between panic buying things that you're never going to use. It's like people have panic bought, and they bought just, I mean, all kinds of crazy crap that they're never going to use. I don't put panic buying gasoline and propane. I don't put that in the thing. Now, maybe if you went out and you bought, 2,000 gallons of gasoline on a panic buy, if you had that much, if you had what, $6,000-7,000 laying around, panic buying that would be kind of stupid, because it's going to take a hot minute to get through, 1,000 or 2,000 gallons of gasoline for the average person. But yeah, panic buying gasoline, before an ice storm or something like that, that's not a panic buy. That's just kind of smart. So you should already have some fuel storage sitting there, but it's like, hey, we know we're going to get an ice storm. Let's jump in and go top everything off. Maybe get an extra 15 gallons because we might not be able to get out. Or, hey, let's go fill up all the propane grill tanks just to make sure we got some extra propane. So, and that's another thing I got to do. I got to check the propane things. And I'm wanting to buy another propane tank. I've got a 500-gallon tank here. I want to buy another 500-gallon and piggyback those things together. But God almighty, I called about a new 500-gallon tank to buy it outright, because my tank, I bought it when I built the house. I bought it outright so I could use whoever I wanted to as my supplier. But those stupid things are $3,000 new. And I'm like, holy crap. And then, of course, you look on Facebook, on Marketplace. You look on there and you've got pretty much two things. You've got some that have no inspection tag on them, and they look like they're on their last leg, that somebody wants like $100 for. And I'm like, man, the only thing that's good for doing is making a smoker out of it. Or you got the people that are selling super nice ones that you darn near for like another $100 you can go buy a brand new one. There's not any of that in between that I've found yet, but I keep looking, and I'll find one and set up another propane tank and just piggyback those things together. Yeah, Cuck B, I've looked on Marketplace, and it's like I'm saying, there's either the junky ones that look like they're almost rusted through, or the ones like another $200 and you can buy a brand new one. I'm looking for that middle ground, something that's a little old, but it's still got the data plate and everything on it, and that people don't want a stinking arm and a leg for. So that's what I'm going to find pretty soon. When I find it, we're going to go pick it up and have that joker set. So, guys, I got some work to do. I appreciate you being here. I will be back Friday morning, same time, 8 o'clock, and I'll be back here on that. Shelly and I will be on here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. And I don't know what we're talking about, but I guarantee, I know we're going to get Shelly's opinion on the land nav class, because Shelly was there all weekend, and she ended up, man, she got some awesome video stuff. I've got some good video. And we're going to do some shorts and stuff like that, and do a couple little videos with that. But Shelly and I will be on here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for the Homestead HQ podcast. Guys, I appreciate it, and I will see y'all tomorrow night. Y'all have a good day, and have fun out there. Stay warm, and hopefully it'll warm up just a little bit this weekend, and we can have a good time. Guys, I appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.